My name is Laura Foster. I'm 26 years old, and I'm a clinical pharmacist specializing in reproductive health. Last week, I stood in ICU room 615 at Massachusetts General Hospital, watching the woman who destroyed my life grab my mother's wrist with the last bit of strength she had left, my sister Claire. She was dying from leukemia, and she needed my bone marrow to survive. But that's not why my parents were wailing in that sterile room under the fluorescent lights at 3:17 a.m. They were crying because Claire finally told the truth. 10 years ago, my parents threw me out of our house in South Boston at 4:47 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. I was 16. They found Plan B in my purse and called me a murderer in front of 12 relatives. My father is a devout Irish Catholic. My mother goes to confession every Tuesday. They didn't ask questions. They didn't let me speak. I had 20 minutes to pack. For 10 years, I was dead to them. 0 calls. 0 cards. 47 letters I sent came back marked return to sender in my mother's perfect handwriting. But 3 weeks ago, Claire's white blood cell count hit 186,000, and suddenly, they remembered I existed. Let me take you back to when I still believed my family loved me. 2015. I was 16. We lived at 47 Maple Street, South Boston. A pale blue 2-story with a white picket fence, exactly 6 minutes walking distance from St. Brigid's Parish. My father, Vincent Foster, was a factory supervisor. My mother, Catherine, was a full-time homemaker. My sister Claire was 3 years older, working as a pharmaceutical sales rep for MedTech Solutions. We went to Mass 3 times a week. Sunday mornings, Wednesday evenings, and Friday mornings if there was a special feast day. My father sat in the third pew on the left, the same spot the Foster family had occupied for 23 years. Dinner at 6 p.m. sharp, prayer before meals, rosary after. In this house we serve God first, family second, ourselves never. My father said that line every Sunday night. I'd memorized it by age 7, but in November 2015 I started noticing something off. Claire came home late on Tuesday nights. A strange men's cologne. Not Jake's, her public boyfriend. I didn't ask. In this family, you didn't question Claire. Claire was the golden child. $68,000 a year salary, a 1.2-carat engagement ring from Jake Halloran, a junior associate at a top Boston law firm. Wedding booked for June 2016 at St. Brigid's Hall, $3,200 deposit already paid. At church, people praised my sister. Claire Foster is a model for young women. Faith and career, both perfect. My parents smiled when they heard those compliments. And me? My mother looked at me with disappointment every time I came home 10 minutes late from my CVS shift. Why can't you be more like your sister? She has her life together. A week before Thanksgiving, I found a pregnancy test wrapper in Claire's bathroom trash. The test was negative. I stood there, holding the paper wrapper, wondering if I should ask her about it. But then I threw it in the outdoor garbage. I didn't know that was the first sign of the disaster coming. I was a junior in high school then. 3.8 GPA. I wanted to study pharmacy. That dream started with Mrs. Chen, my school counselor, who told me, "Laura, you have an analytical mind. Pharmacy would suit you." I worked part-time at CVS, 12 hours a week, minimum wage. I'd saved $340. Pharmacy school scholarship applications would open in March 2016. I was preparing step by step. But my father didn't support it. "Education for girls is a waste unless you plan to marry well," he said one evening. "Your sister knows that. She chose a career but also found a good man. What about you?" I didn't argue. Just kept saving, kept working, kept dreaming. A week before Thanksgiving, my Plan B instructional handout from CVS training disappeared from my backpack. I thought I'd dropped it at school. Didn't think much of it. That was my biggest mistake. Thanksgiving morning, I woke up at 6:30 a.m. to help Mom prepare the turkey. We were having 12 relatives over: Uncle Patrick, Aunt Moira, and various cousins. Dinner at 3 p.m. Claire arrived late. 4:15 p.m. Face pale. She declined wine when Mom offered. Strange, because she always had one glass at family meals. "Are you okay?" Mom asked. "I'm fine, Mom. Just a bit tired." Then Mom asked Claire to go upstairs and get extra napkins from my room. Claire stood up quickly. Too quickly. "I'll get them right now, Mom." I was in the kitchen washing dishes. Didn't think anything of it. 8 minutes later, my life collapsed. Claire stood at the top of the stairs holding my purse in her hand, her face white as paper. 12 people sat around the dining table. Golden brown turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, laughter, the clink of glasses, Aunt Moira telling stories about her trip to Rome, Uncle Patrick complaining about the Patriots losing, kids running around in the living room. At 4:47 p.m., Claire appeared at the top of the stairs. She held my purse. Her hands were shaking, her eyes red like she'd been crying. I was looking for napkins and saw Lara's purse open and... Her voice choked. "Oh my God, Lara, what did you do?" Claire dumped the entire contents of my purse onto the dining table. Wallet, phone, lipstick, keys, some loose change, and a Plan B box. Still sealed. CVS receipt stuck to the back. Dated November 23, 2015, yesterday. The room went silent. My father stood up, his face flushed red, veins bulging on his forehead. "What is this?" I stood there, hands still wet from washing dishes, staring at the Plan B box on the table, staring at Claire. She was sobbing into Mom's shoulder, staring at 12 pairs of eyes looking at me. "Dad, that's from..." "Don't lie!" my father shouted. His hand slammed down on the table. Plates jumped, wine spilled onto the tablecloth. "The receipt has your name. Yesterday, you bought this." "Dad, it's from CVS training. We have to learn about..." "Be quiet!" His voice like thunder. "You brought murder pills into my house, on Thanksgiving, before God and family." My mother clutched her rosary, lips moving in prayer. Aunt Moira led the children outside. Uncle Patrick shook his head, stood up, and left the table. 7 relatives left the room within 3 minutes. Only Dad, Mom, Claire, me, and 2 cousins standing in the corner remained. My father quoted scripture. 1 Corinthians 6:18. Flee from sexual immorality. He said the words murder pill 4 times. My mother cried into her rosary beads. I tried to explain. "It's from the employee training kit. We have to learn about contraception counseling. I've never..." No one listened. Not one person. Catherine looked at Claire. "Did you know about this?" Claire shook her head, tears streaming down. "I didn't know, Mom. I swear. I had no idea she was..." Her voice didn't finish the sentence, but the implication was clear. "You have 20 minutes, my father said. His voice cold as ice. "Pack what you can carry. You are not my daughter." "Dad, please." "No negotiation. When you're ready to confess your sins and beg God's forgiveness, maybe we'll talk. Until then, you're dead to me." My mother didn't defend me, just cried into her rosary. Claire hugged Mom, avoiding my eyes. They gave me one large black garbage bag. I went upstairs. 20 minutes. 1,200 seconds. I stuffed clothes into the bag. Toothbrush, phone charger, textbooks, family photos. No, leave them. They don't want me to have their pictures. $340 from inside a shoebox. ID papers. Learner's permit. At 5:07 p.m., I came downstairs, garbage bag over my shoulder. My father opened the front door. Cold wind rushed in. Temperature 19 degrees Fahrenheit. "Go." I stepped outside, heard the door slam behind me, heard the deadbolt click. I turned back to look through the window. Claire sat in my chair at the dining table, eating pumpkin pie. I slept in my 2003 Honda Civic that night, parked 6 blocks away. Temperature 19 degrees Fahrenheit. I curled up under a thin jacket. My breath created fog on the windows. I texted Claire at 11:34 p.m. "Why did you do this?" Blue checkmark appeared. Red. No reply. I slept in my car for 47 nights, November 25th to January 10th. Showered in the school gym locker room at 6 a.m. before security arrived. Ate free school lunch. Expired food from CVS. Employee perk. Temperature dropped to -12 degrees Fahrenheit on December 28th. I woke up with numb feet. Couldn't feel my toes. Had to massage them for 15 minutes before sensation returned. The $340 remained untouched. I didn't touch it. That money was for college tuition, if I lived long enough to get there. I maintained perfect attendance at school. No one knew I was homeless. I wore clean clothes every day, brushed my hair, light makeup. I refused to let anyone see me break. No phone calls from family, no texts, nothing. On January 11th, the school nurse, Mrs. Carol Pattinson, knocked on my car window at 6:42 a.m. I was brushing my hair using the rearview mirror. "Laura, we need to talk." Mrs. Pattinson, 62 years old, 30 years of experience. She connected me with social services. Emancipation petition filed January 18th, 2016. Temporary foster placement with Ms. Delgado, 62, South End, address 342 Shawmut Avenue. Court date, February 29th, 2016. "Your parents can contest this," Mrs. Pattinson said. "Do you think they will?" "No," I said. "They already erased me." On February 12th, the court served notice to Vincent and Catherine Foster, 47 Maple Street. They didn't show up. Didn't contest. On February 29th, Judge Catherine Mills granted my emancipation. I was 16 years old, legally an adult, legally an orphan, while my parents were still alive. Mrs. Pattinson attended the hearing as my character witness. She was the only person in that courtroom who believed me. March 2016, after emancipation was granted. I wrote my first letter explaining the truth. The Plan B was from my CVS training module, Employee Education on Contraception Counseling. Never used, still sealed. I included a verification letter from my CVS manager. The letter was 3 pages, handwritten. "Dad, Mom, the Plan B was part of my job training at CVS. I never had sex. I never took it. Please call me. I forgive you. I just want to come home. Love, Lara." I mailed it to 47 Maple Street on March 14th, 2016. Certified mail, $6.70. The letter came back on March 22nd. Envelope marked, "Return to sender" in Catherine's perfect cursive handwriting. No note inside. Just sent back unopened. I stared at that envelope for an hour. Then I put it in a shoebox. Labeled the box unopened. Slid it under my bed. I didn't know then that I'd fill that box 46 more times over the next 10 years. In April, I discovered through a former classmate that Claire had told the parish I'd had an abortion and run away from shame. Father O'Malley gave a sermon about sanctity of life on Easter Sunday, April 3, 2016, a thinly veiled reference. He mentioned sanctity of life 14 times. My name was whispered at church bingo, at the grocery store, in the neighborhood. A classmate texted me, "Hey, IDK if you know, but people at St. Brigid's are saying you killed a baby and that's why you left. Claire's been crying at Mass every week. Just thought you should know." 3 classmates blocked me on social media between April and May. I saw Claire's Instagram, still public. A photo at church with Catherine. Caption: Praying for those who lost their way. 127 likes. I blocked her account. Deleted all social media. If they wanted to erase me, I'd let them. But I wouldn't watch. June 2016. Claire married Jake Halloran at St. Bridget's. 180 guests. White dress, rosary bouquet. I wasn't invited. I stood across the street and watched from a distance. Saw my parents walk Claire down the aisle. Saw Uncle Patrick and Aunt Moira in the third pew. Our pew. Saw the reception line outside the church. Everyone smiling. Everyone celebrating. I walked away before the recessional. Went back to Ms. Delgado's house. Deleted every family photo from my phone. 4 years of memories. Gone. I kept only one photo, my acceptance letter to Northeastern University's PharmD program. Full scholarship. I'll become someone they can't ignore, I said to myself that night. I didn't know then that it would take 10 years and a terminal diagnosis to make them see me again. Northeastern PharmD program. 6 years total. 2 years pre-pharmacy. 4 years doctoral. I worked 25 hours a week. CVS plus campus bookstore. GPA 3.92. I specialized in reproductive health. A deliberate choice. I want to help people understand what Plan B actually is, I told my advisor in 2018. In a 2019 lecture, my professor said something that changed me. Levonorgestrel is not an abortifacient. It prevents ovulation. It does not terminate pregnancy. This misinformation kills people. I sat in that classroom and cried, quietly, in the back row. Because someone finally said what I'd tried to tell my father on Thanksgiving 2015. From 2016 to 2022, I had zero contact with my family. I worked, studied, survived. $47,000 in student loans despite the scholarship. Living costs, books, rent. But I was free. In 2018, I published a research paper, Emergency Contraception Counseling in Catholic Communities. I used a fake name, L.M. Foster, to avoid my parents seeing it. The paper appeared in the Journal of Pharmacy Practice. I graduated in May 2022 with my PharmD. Mrs. Pattinson was the only person in the audience when they called my name. She took a photo of me in my white coat. The only family photo I have from that day. Between 2016 and 2025, I sent 47 pieces of mail to 47 Maple Street. Birthday cards, Christmas cards, graduation announcements, letters explaining the truth, begging them to listen. Every single one came back. Return to sender. I kept them all in the shoebox, never opened by them. All returned in Catherine's handwriting. A 2020 letter I wrote. Mom, I'm going to graduate in 2 years. I'll be Dr. Foster. I just want you to know I'm okay. I still love you. Please write back. Laura. Returned. Unopened. By 2023, I'd spent $186.50 on postage to send letters they'd never read. In 2021, I tried calling from an unknown number. Catherine answered. Mom, it's me. She hung up. The number was blocked within 5 minutes. Over 10 years, I called 892 times. Different numbers, different times of day. All eventually blocked. All instantly disconnected. I kept the call logs, saved every screenshot, printed them out, put them in the shoebox. Evidence. Proof. Receipts. I didn't know what I was collecting them for. I just knew I needed proof that I'd tried. After my PharmD, I joined Planned Parenthood South Boston, clinical pharmacist, 2 miles from 47 Maple Street. I could have walked there from where they threw me out. I counseled 40 patients a week on contraception. Plan B, medication abortion. Massachusetts law allows pharmacist counseling. I wrote prescriptions, explained side effects, held hands when patients cried. On February 2nd, 2025, I wrote prescription number 10,000. My colleagues threw a small celebration. Cupcakes in the break room. A card that said, "You're changing lives." I thought about my father calling Plan B a murder pill. I thought about the 10,000 women I'd helped. The irony wasn't lost on me. A 16-year-old came to me once, crying, "My parents will kill me if they find out." I looked at her and saw myself. Same age, same fear. "I'm going to make sure you're safe," I told her. "That's my only job, not to judge you." She hugged me when she left, thanked me. I went to the bathroom and cried for 10 minutes, then washed my face and saw my next patient. In January 2025, I noticed something on a supply shipment invoice. MedTech Solutions provided our clinic with contraceptives. The account representative listed on every shipment, Claire Halloran, née Foster. Claire had been seeing my name on shipment logs since 2022. 3 years, quarterly shipments, 12 total invoices with my name and workplace address. She knew where I worked, knew what I did, knew I was alive. Never reached out. Not once. I stared at that invoice for a long time, her signature at the bottom. Professional, clean, like I didn't exist. I filed it with the other receipts. December 24th, 2018. Christmas Eve, 11:56 p.m. My phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. A voicemail. 2 minutes, 14 seconds. Vincent's voice. Drunk, slurring, crying. "Laura, it's Dad. I miss my little girl. But you killed our family. I can't forgive. I just can't." The voicemail cut off. I called back on Christmas morning. Vincent answered. Heard my voice. "Don't ever call here again." He hung up. Blocked the number. That was call number 892. The last one I ever made. I saved that voicemail. Listened to it 63 times over the next 6 years. Trying to hear love underneath the hate. Trying to find some proof that he missed me. All I heard was a man who believed his daughter was a murderer. I was never a murderer. I was just 16 years old and trying to do my job. February 8th, 2025. 6:22 a.m. My work phone rang. M.G.H. operator. "Ms. Foster, you're listed as emergency contact for Claire Halloran. She's been admitted to ICU. Can you come in?" I stared at the phone. There must be a mistake. I don't have a sister. "Ma'am, she listed you as her only living sibling for the bone marrow registry. Her white blood cell count is 186,000. She has chronic myeloid leukemia. She's dying." Silence on my end. "Can you come in?" the operator repeated. "Who else is there?" "Her parents. They've been here 72 hours. They're waiting for you." I hung up, sat in my car in the Planned Parenthood parking lot. Didn't move for 30 minutes. Then I drove to MGH. February 8th, 6:22 a.m. Dr. Patel from MGH Hematology called my work number, found it in the Planned Parenthood directory. Claire admitted February 6th, WBC 186,000. Normal range, 4,000 to 11,000. Diagnosis, chronic myeloid leukemia in blast crisis. Chemotherapy failed after 8 months. Needs bone marrow transplant. 25% chance a sibling will match. I'm her only sibling. "Ms. Foster, your sister is dying," Dr. Patel said. "We need to test you for compatibility. Can you come in today?" "Who told you I'm her sister? We haven't spoken in 10 years. Your parents are here. They've been here 72 hours straight. They're waiting for you." I didn't ask if they wanted to see me. I knew they didn't want me. They needed me. There's a difference. I drove to MGH, 12-minute drive from the clinic, parked on level 3, spot 47. The number hit me. 47 Maple Street. 47 letters returned. 47 nights in my car. And now, Parking spot, 47. I walked through the hospital, past the labor and delivery ward, where I'd almost worked before choosing Planned Parenthood. Took the elevator to floor 6, ICU, saw the sign, room 615. Through the door, I heard Vincent's voice for the first time in 10 years. Please God, send us a miracle. I stood outside for 3 minutes. Clinical mode. You're a pharmacist. Review the chart. Don't feel. Just don't feel. I pushed the door open. Claire. Jaundiced. Bald from chemo. 40 pounds lighter than I remembered. Oxygen mask. 6 different IV lines dripping into her arms. Monitor beeping. Heart rate 98. Blood pressure 89/54. O2 saturation 88%. Vincent and Catherine looked up. Didn't recognize me at first. I was 26 now. Professional clothes? Hair different. Confident posture. Not the scared 16-year-old they threw out. Catherine gasped. Lara? Dr. Foster, actually, I said, my voice flat, clinical. I'm here because your daughter needs my bone marrow. Vincent stood, tried to step toward me. I stepped back. Don't. Claire's eyes opened for the first time since I entered. She looked at me, started crying silently. The monitor alarm beeped, tachycardia. Her heart rate jumped to 118. I walked to the computer, logged into the EMR system. I had pharmacist access. Pulled up Claire's chart. Medical record number 8923156. Admitted February 6, 2025. Diagnosis date June 2024. 8 months ago. Imatinib 400 milligrams daily. Failed. Blast count now 35%. Terminal stage. Hemoglobin 6.2. Normal is 12 to 16. Platelets 22,000. Normal is 150,000 to 400,000. Prognosis without transplant, 3 to 6 weeks. Prognosis with transplant if I match, 60% 5-year survival. I read aloud, clinical tone. Hemoglobin 6.2. Platelets 22,000. She's bleeding internally. She needs a transfusion before we even test compatibility. Catherine stared at me. You understand all this? I'm a clinical pharmacist, I said. This is what I do. I scrolled further. Emergency contact section. Parents listed first. Then, sibling. Lara Foster. Estranged. Note dated February 6, 2025. 2 days ago. They'd known where to find me for 3 years. MedTech shipment logs. Claire saw my name quarterly since 2022. They only called when she was dying. I looked at Claire's hospital wristband. Name: Claire Foster Halloran. Date of birth: March 15, 1996. Allergies: penicillin. Code status: full code. Wedding ring still on her finger. Where's Jake? I asked. Vincent's voice quiet. He left. 6 months ago, when she got diagnosed. I looked at my father for the first time. So he left when she got sick. And you threw me out when you thought I was sick. Interesting pattern. Catherine flinched like I'd slapped her. Lara, please, she said. We made a mistake. We didn't know. Didn't know what? I interrupted. That plan B isn't abortion? I tried to tell you. You had 20 minutes of rage and 10 years of silence. Which part didn't you know? No one answered. Dr. Patel entered. Asked me to do HLA typing. Blood test for compatibility. Takes 3 to 5 days for results. I agreed. Not because I forgave them, but because I'm a healthcare provider. I took an oath. The phlebotomist drew 4 vials. My parents watched silently. If you match, the donation procedure is 6 hours under anesthesia, Dr. Patel explained. Recovery 2 to 4 weeks. There's a 1% risk of serious complications, but there's no obligation if you decline. This is entirely voluntary. I understand, I said. As I stood to leave, Claire spoke, her voice weak, hoarse. "Lara, wait." I stopped at the door, didn't turn around. "I'm sorry." I looked back at her. "For which part?" Then I walked out. I sat in my car, parking spot 47, for 30 minutes. Didn't cry, didn't scream, just sat. Called the Planned Parenthood director. "I need 2 weeks off. Family emergency." She paused. "I didn't know you had family." "I don't," I said. "That's the emergency." February 13th, 5 days after the blood draw. Dr. Patel called. "You're a 10 out of 10 match. Perfect. We need your decision in 72 hours. Claire has maybe 2 weeks left." I asked for 48 hours to think. My parents called 8 times in 3 hours. I didn't answer any of them. I went to work. Saw a patient. 16 years old. Scared. Picking up Plan B. "Thank you for not judging me," she said. I almost broke right there. February 15th. 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep. Drove to MGH. Didn't plan it. Just drove. Parked. Walked to floor 6. Saw Vincent and Catherine sleeping in chairs outside room 615. They'd been there 72 hours straight. I entered Claire's room alone. Monitors beeping. Heart rate 118. Blood pressure 89/54. O2 saturation 88%. Morphine drip at 8 milligrams per hour. Claire was asleep. Or sedated. Hard to tell. I stood at the foot of her bed. This woman destroyed my life. And now I had the power to save hers. The same power they'd denied me. The power to choose. 3:17 a.m. Claire's eyes opened. Morphine haze. She saw me. "You came back?" she whispered. "I'm still deciding," I said. "I need to tell you something." Her hand reached out, trembling. I didn't take it. Catherine and Vincent woke up, heard voices, rushed into the room. Claire's hand shot out, grabbed Catherine's wrist, with shocking strength for someone so weak. The monitor alarm went off. Heart rate spiked to 142. Claire looked at our parents, then at me. "Mom? Dad?" Her voice cracking. The Plan B was mine. I was sleeping with David Ross. He was married. I was pregnant. I took the Plan B. I put it in her purse at Thanksgiving because I was scared you'd find out. I let you destroy her. I killed our family. 42 words, each one a nail in their coffin. Catherine screamed, primal, animal. The sound of a mother realizing she'd killed her child. Vincent vomited into the trash can. 6 heaves. The nurse ran in. Claire's grip loosened. Her O2 saturation dropped to 84%. Monitor alarms escalated. I stood frozen. Clinical shock and emotional tsunami hitting me at the same time. Catherine collapsed, hyperventilating. Blood pressure spiked to 168/105. A nurse helped her to a chair. Vincent on his knees, sobbing. The kind of crying that empties you out. The nurse increased Claire's morphine. 4 more milligrams, put her O2 up to 6 liters per minute. Called for the code cart on standby. Dr. Patel arrived, asked the family to leave the room. Vincent looked at me, tears and vomit on his face. We didn't... Oh God, what did we do to you?" I looked at him, my voice flat, empty. "You believed her. For 10 years, without question. That's what you did." Security escorted my parents to the family waiting room. Catherine needed Ativan. Vincent was sedated. I walked to the nurse's station, used my pharmacist credentials to access Claire's full medical record. Found a note from her June 2024 intake. Patient reports guilt over family estrangement. States, "I ruined my sister's life." Claire had known for 8 months she was dying. Never reached out to confess until she needed my bone marrow. Even this confession was transactional. I sat alone in the ICU hallway. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I heard you're at MGH. I always knew you were innocent. I'm proud of who you became. Carol P. Mrs. Pattinson, the school nurse who saved me. I cried for 4 minutes. First tears in 10 years. Then I stopped. Washed my face in the bathroom. Clinical mode back on. I walked to the waiting room where my parents sat. I'm donating the bone marrow, I said. Not because I forgive you, not because we're family, but because I took an oath as a healthcare provider to do no harm. That oath supersedes my feelings. Vincent tried to stand. I held up my hand. But after the transplant, you don't get access to me. No reconciliation, no Sunday dinners, no forgiveness until you've earned it. If you ever do, Claire gets my marrow. You get nothing. Those are my terms. What do you want from us? Vincent asked. I want you to live with what you did, I said. The same way I had to. I walked out. February 15th, 11 a.m. I went home to my studio apartment in Somerville, $1,850 a month. Retrieved the shoebox from under my bed, labeled unopened. I brought it to MGH Conference Room 412, 4th floor. Asked Dr. Patel to summon my parents. They arrived. Sat across from me at the table. 4 chairs. 1 table. A decade of silence between us. I dumped the shoebox contents onto the table. 47 returned letters, certified mail receipts, all marked "Return to Sender" in Catherine's cursive. 892 call log screenshots, 14 voicemail transcripts with timestamps, my CVS training certificate from November 2015, my manager's verification letter from March 2016. This is what 10 years of Return to Sender looks like, I said. 47 letters. I kept count. Vincent reached toward the pile, his hand trembling. Don't, I said. You sent them back. They're mine now. I pulled out my phone, pressed play on a saved voicemail, put it on speaker. Vincent's voice from December 24th, 2018. 2 minutes, 14 seconds. Drunk, slurring, crying. Lara, it's Dad. I miss my little girl, but you killed our family. I can't forgive. The baby. The voicemail cut off. Present-day Catherine looked at present-day Vincent. There was no baby, she whispered. Oh God, there was never a baby. That was Christmas Eve, 2018, I said. The only time you acknowledged I existed in 10 years. You were drunk. Want to hear the other 13 voicemails? They're worse. I pulled out an 8-page printout. Email dated April 3rd, 2018, Easter Sunday. I sent this to Claire's work email at MedTech, I said. Subject line, please tell them the truth. She read it at 11:47 a.m. the same day. Never replied. I read portions aloud. Claire, I know you're reading this. I know you know the truth. I'm not angry. I just want my family back. Please. I'm graduating pharmacy school in 4 years. I want Mom and Dad there. Just tell them. Please. Lara. Read receipt proves she opened it, I said, pointing to the metadata. 2 hours and 25 minutes after I sent it. She read every word, never wrote back. Vincent's voice cracked. Why didn't she? Because she was comfortable, I said. You believed her. She had the perfect life. I was the sacrifice she was willing to make. I pulled out my prescription pad from Planned Parenthood, the logo visible. I write Plan B prescriptions 6 times a week on average, I said. 312 times a year. For 3 years. That's 936 prescriptions total. For the pill you called murder. I help scared 16-year-olds who remind me of myself. That's my job now. Catherine stared at the prescription pad like it was a snake. You work at Planned Parenthood? Yes, I said. 2 miles from your house. I could have walked there from where you threw me out. But you never looked for me, did you? Silence. You want to know the really ironic part? I continued. MedTech Solutions, Claire's company, supplies contraceptives to my clinic. I saw her name on shipment invoices 12 times between 2022 and 2025. She knew where I worked, what I did, that I was alive. She never reached out. I slid one of the invoices across the table, Claire's signature at the bottom, professional, clean. She chose silence, I said. All of you did. I stood up. Clinical mode? Rehearsed. Here's what's going to happen. I will donate bone marrow to Claire. Not because I forgive you, not because we're family, but because I took an oath as a healthcare provider to do no harm. That oath supersedes my feelings. Vincent started to speak. I held up my hand. But after the transplant, you don't get access to me. No reconciliation, no Sunday dinners. I will give you a list of conditions. If you meet them, maybe, in a year, we'll talk. But forgiveness is not guaranteed. Ever. What do you want from us? Vincent asked again. I looked him in the eye. I want you to live with what you did, the same way I had to. I collected the receipts, put them back in the shoebox, left it on the table. Keep them, I said, so you remember. I walked out. Security footage later showed Vincent and Catherine sat in that conference room for 40 minutes after I left. Not speaking. Not moving. At minute 37, Catherine picked up one envelope, the 2019 Christmas card. Opened it for the first time. My handwriting. I miss you. Merry Christmas. Laura. She collapsed sobbing. Vincent held her. They cried together, surrounded by evidence of their decade-long mistake. But I didn't see that. I was already gone. February 16th, I signed the bone marrow donation consent form, 12 pages, every risk explained, procedure scheduled for February 23rd, 7 days out, pre-op appointments, physical exam, complete blood count, chest x-ray, IEKG, 4 appointments total. Dr. Patel walked me through it. 6 hours under general anesthesia will extract approximately 1,200 milliliters of bone marrow from your posterior iliac crest, your hip bones. Recovery is 2 to 4 weeks. Pain is significant. There's a 1% chance of serious complications. Infection, bleeding, reaction to anesthesia. I understand, I said. You can change your mind any time before we put you under, Dr. Patel said. No one can force you to do this. I know, the nurse asked. Who's your emergency contact for the procedure? I paused. Wrote, Carol Pattinson, former school nurse, not my parents. February 22nd, 11 p.m. I couldn't sleep, sat in my apartment, looked at the empty shoebox I'd left the receipts with my parents, thought about Claire's confession. I killed our family. She didn't confess out of guilt. She confessed because she needed my bone marrow and thought the truth would make me donate. Even now it was transactional. My phone buzzed. Text from Catherine. First text in 10 years. Thank you for saving her. I know we don't deserve it. Mom. I stared at the message for 5 minutes, blocked the number. February 23rd, 6 a.m., MGH Operating Room 12, temperature 65 degrees Fahrenheit, steel tables, anesthesia machine humming. The anesthesiologist placed my IV. Count backwards from 10. 10, 9, 8. I'm doing the right thing. That's enough. I went under. 6 hours. They harvested 1,200 milliliters of bone marrow, bilateral posterior iliac crest, 14-gauge needles, 6 syringes filled. My parents waited outside the OR, not allowed in. Vincent paced, Security cameras showed him walking 180 steps per hour for 6 hours straight. Catherine clutched her rosary. I woke up in recovery at 2 p.m., morphine PCA pump. Pain 7 out of 10. First thing I saw, Vincent and Catherine standing at the door. Not allowed inside. Get out, I said. My voice groggy from anesthesia but clear enough. The nurse escorted them away. Same day, 3:30 p.m. While I was still in recovery, my bone marrow was infused into Claire. IV transfusion. Looked like blood. Took 45 minutes. Dr. Patel reported to my parents. Infusion complete. Now we wait 2 to 4 weeks for engraftment. If it takes, she has a 60% chance of 5-year survival. I wasn't there. Still in recovery. Still on morphine. Still in pain from giving my sister a second chance at life. The next day, discharge nurse came in. Your parents wanted to drive you home. I looked at her. I took an Uber. The receipt? $23. Driver named Hassan. 4.9 stars. February 26th. 3 days post-op. Pain 6 out of 10. Taking prescribed oxycodone. Lying in my apartment alone. Dr. Patel called. Early signs of engraftment. Claire's white blood cell count is starting to climb. Looks very good. Thank you for letting me know, I said. Hung up. Felt nothing. Not relief, not satisfaction, not even sadness. Just empty. I went back to sleep. April 8th, 2025. Day 42, post-transplant. Dr. Patel sent me an update. Professional courtesy, not family notification. Claire's engraftment confirmed. 89% donor cells. My cells. My bone marrow keeping her alive. WBC, 4,200. Normal range. Platelets, 156,000. Normal range. Hemoglobin, 11.8. Nearly normal. Discharged from hospital to 47 Maple Street. To our parents' house. I received this update via email. Not from my family, from her doctor. 2 days later, Facebook friend request from Catherine. I opened her profile. Recent photo, Catherine and Vincent with Claire at home. Claire bald but smiling. Caption: Miracles happen, 340 likes. I declined the request. April 12th. I wrote the final letter. Certified mail. Signature required. Sent to 47 Maple Street. 8 conditions for any future contact. 1. Public apology at St. Brigid's Parish, Father O'Malley presiding. Retracting the abortion rumor. 2. Donation of $47,000 to Planned Parenthood South Boston in Claire's name. Amount equivalent to my student loans. 3. Written apology letters from Vincent, Catherine, and Claire. Separate, detailed. Acknowledging specific harm. 4. No contact for 1 year minimum, starting April 12th, 2025. 5. No social media mentions of me, no photos, no tags, no miracle daughter narrative. 6. Family therapy. 12 sessions minimum before any in-person meeting. 7. Acceptance that I will never return to the South Boston home. Will never attend family holidays. 8. Understanding that forgiveness is not guaranteed, even if all conditions are met. Mailed April 12th. Certified mail, $8.50. Tracking confirmed delivery April 16th. Signed by Vincent. No response for 6 days. April 22nd, 8 p.m. I finished my shift at Planned Parenthood. Walked to my car. Claire was waiting. Bald, thin, wearing an N95 mask. Immunocompromised protocol. First time seeing her since the transplant, since her confession, since I gave her my bone marrow. She tried to hug me. I stepped back. 6 feet. Laura, please, she cried. I'm so sorry. I was scared. I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. You were 19, I interrupted. My voice calm, clinical. I was 16. You were old enough to know what you were doing, and you did it anyway. What can I do to make this right? Read the letter I sent Mom and Dad, I said. Follow the conditions. Then maybe in a year we'll talk. Maybe. I got in my car, drove away. Security camera footage showed Claire standing alone in that parking lot for 11 minutes. Then she left. May 2025. My parents completed 4 out of 8 conditions. Condition 2. $47,000 donation to Planned Parenthood. Check dated May 6th. Verified. Condition 6. Family therapy started. Sessions every Tuesday with Dr. Nguyen. 8 sessions completed by June. Condition 3. Vincent's apology letter arrived May 10th. 8 pages. Handwritten. Detailed. Excerpt. Lara, I failed you as a father. I chose my pride over my daughter. I believed a lie because it was easier than facing the truth. I will spend the rest of my life regretting Thanksgiving 2015. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know. You were always enough. I was the one who wasn't. Dad. Catherine's letter arrived May 12th. 6 pages, shaky handwriting, tear stains. But they did not complete. Condition 1. Public parish apology. Father O'Malley advised against it. Condition 3. Claire's letter. She needs more time. Condition 5. Social media silence. Catherine posted a vague God's forgiveness quote on May 15th. I received the letters May 20th. Certified mail bundle. Read them once. Put them in a new shoebox. Labeled it incomplete. Didn't respond. No tears. Just tired. June 2nd, 2025. I gave 2 weeks' notice at Planned Parenthood. Moving to hospital-only clinical pharmacy. MGH offered me a position. Different department from Claire's oncology ward. 0 overlap. Why are you leaving? The director asked. You're incredible here. I need a fresh start, I said. Somewhere without ghosts. Last day, June 16th. My patients threw a surprise goodbye party. Handmade cards, cupcakes. One patient, 17 years old, I'd counseled her on Plan B 8 months ago, gave me a card. You saved my life. I hope you know that. I cried. Second time in 10 years. After everyone left, I took my prescription pad from Planned Parenthood, locked it in my desk drawer, bottom left. Never opened it again. February 2026. 1 year post-transplant. Claire in remission. 12-month PT scan clear. She lives in her own apartment now. Somerville, 3 miles from me. She doesn't know that. I work at MGH Oncology Medication Specialist. The irony isn't lost on me. No family contact since May 2025. 9 months of silence. My parents completed 10 out of 12 therapy sessions. Never completed the parish apology. Never got Claire's letter. I don't think about them every day anymore. Some days I don't think about them at all. That's not forgiveness. That's just moving on. My office at MGH Pharmacy Department. Minimalist. 2 diplomas on the wall. Northeastern PharmD 2022. Board Certification 2023. No family photos. 1 photo. Me with Mrs. Pattinson at my graduation. She's smiling. I'm crying. The only family I have from that day. In my bottom desk drawer, locked. The prescription pad from Planned Parenthood. Haven't used it since June 2025. Don't plan to ever again. But I keep it. A reminder. A relic. Proof that I survived. A colleague asks me once, "You never talk about family. You have any siblings?" I did, I say. Once. February 20th, 2026. I'm filling in at the MGH outpatient pharmacy. A colleague called in sick. A family of 4 picks up a prescription. Mother, father, 2 daughters, maybe 16 and 19 years old. Same age gap as me and Claire. The younger daughter laughs at something. The older one teases her. Their parents smile. A perfect family moment. I watch them. Feel nothing. No pain, no longing. Just neutral observation. Thank you so much, the mother says to me. Have a blessed day. You too, I say, and I mean it. After they leave, I realize I didn't think that should have been my family. I thought, I hope their family stays intact. First time I wished strangers well without bitterness. My apartment, 1 bedroom, moved here September 2025, $2,100 a month. Somerville, 6 plants, all thriving, a bookshelf full, 47 books total. I count them one day and laugh at the number. Art on the walls, local artists, bright colors, and the front door. Single deadbolt, chain lock. 4 keys made, all with me. This door is under my control. Nobody can lock me out. Nobody can force their way in. February 28th, 2026. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. Text. Lara, it's Claire. I'm ready to write my letter. Can we talk? I read it. Don't delete. Don't respond immediately. Set the phone down. Water my plants. Make tea. Sit by the window. Think about it for 20 minutes. Pick up the phone. Type. I'll read your letter when you send it. Talking comes later, if ever. Send. Turn off my phone. Lock my door. Sip my tea. Life continues. Screen fades on this image. Me at my desk. Prescription pad locked in the drawer. Keys hanging on the hook by the door. Tea steaming in my favorite mug. My voice, calm and clear. They took 10 years, but I took my life back. 1 prescription, 1 boundary, 1 locked door at a time. That's my miracle. Not the bone marrow. Not forgiveness, just freedom. And that's enough.